got to do it to my. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Lisa Noto, and I am an executive director from Long Island. Whether you are here live with us or listening to the replay, I am sure this is going to be a fabulous use of your time. I would like you all to help me welcome Executive Director Kelly Gore. This married mom of a 20-year-old daughter joined Ellington Boyce's team, and Ellington and I have been friends for many, many years. She joined Ellington's organization in March of 2018. She promoted to executive director in July of 2020. So it's just a little over 2 years. It took me 22, but it took you 2, but at least we have 2s in common. That's okay. She has earned incentive trips to Disney, Bahamas, Prague. Prague was the executive level trip that Jenny also earned. And Danny, you were on it as well. And she's already earned Puerto Rico. She's probably already earned 2022's trip that we don't even know about yet with her numbers. She's earned excellence in 3 categories in the last 2 years running. And she has earned founders in personal sales last year, which is the top 20 people with a pulse selling products in the entire company. Jenny's also not new to that category. And if other people on here have earned it, please don't be shy, but I don't see everybody's stats if you're not on my team. So personal sales. So what brought us together today was when Ellington posted her graphic, proudly congratulating her top 10, I guess it was her personal team, I'm guessing. And I saw Kelly and I was like, let me get my glasses because I think that says 47, that there's a comma in there. And then she sold over $47,000 in personal sales. This is not her team, just her and her alone. So I messaged her and I said, pretty please come and share with us today because we have the most deserving team that literally hangs on to every word of advice other successful people share with us. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Kelly and thank you again for helping us out today.
Well, thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. I'm in Texas too, Danny and Joe. I'm in Bridge City down by Beaumont. So it's a little ways from you. I think, Danny, I'm probably about 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours from you. So I don't know about Belton. Oh gosh, thanks for the introduction. I am on I'm Ellington's second gen, to be honest. Becca Yawn, I'm on her personal team. And so just talking to you guys, I guess here just to talk to you about parties and sales. And I guess the biggest thing I would like to lead off with is I'm just a regular person. And if I can do this, you can do this too. I mean, it just took some planning and some being intentional. And we all know it takes booking parties because you don't have any sales if you don't have any parties. And so that's basically was my goal. And a little background, a little bit more background. A year into Pampered Chef, I nearly threw in the towel until my daughter looked over my shoulder and saw that Disney was on the books and she wanted to go on a vacation. And I was really close to earning the Disney trip. And so it was like an October prior to the cutoff date. And so I said, okay, well, I sat down and I looked at it and thought, well, I'm a director. I think I maybe have been an advanced director. And so I was like, okay, well, what's it going to take for me to earn Disney and me be just totally responsible for doing that? And so that's when I did a little math and I looked to see how many average parties I needed. And I said, okay, well, I have to schedule X amount of parties a week in order to reach these sales, in order to earn the Disney trip because my daughter wants to go on it. I mean, literally, I didn't want to. I was like, okay, whatever. Let's, if I'm going to go out with a hurrah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say I earned Disney for her. And so that kind of started the ball rolling. I kind of found a purpose, and we all talk about our whys and how often they change and what your why is. And that became my why. And so in order to get there, had to book parties. And so I promised myself and set a goal that I would book X amount of parties a week until I got there. And that was probably mid-October. I earned Disney by the end of November. So I was very purposeful with that goal. I knew what my average party sales were. And I just said, okay, I'm going to go for it. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. And that's kept going. So that's a little.
Can I stop you for one moment? Just for the backstory part of it. Why were you about to throw in the towel before you decided to, a lot of us have said in our history with this company, we're willing to do things to help others before we'll help ourselves. So you wanted to help your daughter's vision of going to Disney come through, and that's what propelled you. But may I ask why you were about to throw in the towel prior to this?
I believe, looking back on it, I believe it was all mindset. Hindsight's 2020. At the time, I wasn't booking parties I wanted. I really wasn't earning the income I was earning. I had come from, my husband worked in construction. I had come back down to Texas. I had worked some construction admin jobs for him, and I was raking in about $5,000 a month. And I knew I could go back to a construction job and earn $5,000 a month. And if I couldn't do it doing Pampered Chef, then I knew I could go back and I could earn it. So if I wasn't going to be able to earn at least $5,000 a month, then I'm just, okay, I gave it my best shot, and I have a kitchen full of Pampered Chef and I'm going to move on, that type of thing.
Okay.
So that was kind of, I was, on the fence. I mean, I think a lot of us have been there. We're wondering where our business is going to take us. Is it going to get us somewhere? So maybe we're in a mindset moment of where we're like, I just can't book anything. I can't do anything. Why aren't the sales coming in? And I had a lot of had an evaluation. I had to look and say, why it wasn't, more like, well, I can't do it. No one will book. It was more like, what am I doing wrong? So I started booking parties, obviously, because that was the Disney trip. And then I started attending a ton of trainings. I latched on to any kind of trainings. Stephen Browski, I really liked his trainings. He's very upfront and blunt like me. I shoot from the hip. I thought, oh, okay, I might be able to take something from him. And so I started really getting in on, if there was somebody I thought, might be able to share a nugget of information that might help me. But if even the biggest thing is even if I didn't maybe agree with something that they said, I always looked at it as how could I twist it to fit my needs? And so when I changed that kind of mindset, set the goal and moved forward and started learning from different people, even though I might not wear the pink shirt like everybody does, I might be able to wear the purple shirt, and it worked for me. And so that's how I started doing it. And it changed my whole outlook. It changed my party planning. I started growing. I started booking. So it was like little bits and pieces that I gained from that. And I still do that. I love to bounce ideas off of people. While I might not agree, or maybe that won't work for me because I'm not going to work hard. I want it to make it easy for me. That sounds bad, but I don't want to just make it I want to be duplicatable. If I can do it, other people can do it.
And you saying that before you go on to the next thing, but before you go on, I have to point out that sometimes we're all looking for that magic pill, but it legitimately can be a laser focus and saying, what story am I telling myself in my head out loud? What am I texting to my friends about it? And when you became laser focused and I still 23 years later I go outside of Pampered Chef and I look for training to inspire me to be open to learning exactly what somebody taught me, or like you said, putting a twist on it in my way. But the fact that we're just focused and we're thinking in positive solution driven statements, sometimes people say to me, I don't know how you do it. You have all the right words and you share all the right scripts, and I'm I'm just not booking parties. And I said, well, is that what you're telling yourself every day? And they say, yes. So I said, I just want you to just take that little statement. And I said, let me see you spin it. I want you to say, I'm going to book 4 parties this week, no matter what. And just saying that, even if it's a lie at the moment, because I always say the word believe has the word lie right in the middle of it. So that's permission to lie to ourselves until it becomes fact. But just stating, I'm going to do it, and write out the formula. How many points did you need? Or how much income did you need to earn? You now have a goal. It's like directions to someone's home back in the cooking show day. I would never leave my driveway without an address, without an end result I needed to reach, because I'd be driving all over Long Island. So I just wanted to stop right there and highlight that, because that is really the most overlooked aspect of success in life.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And if you haven't seen the Consulted Scoop, and I think I just watched, I just jump around and go watch stuff. I just watched Kristen Moringa do a talk on that, and she talked about mindset and positive affirmations. And if you haven't watched it, it really goes hand in hand about setting goals, setting your systems up, and retraining your mind to exactly, I was like, oh, this is what I say all the time, but she was on there. So if you haven't watched it, it's very, very, very good. So, and definitely, I'm going to book X amount of parties a week. I'm going to do that. People want to book with me all the time. I tell myself all the time, yep, my parties are so great. I'm going to book, 15 parties this week. And so
you get to 47,000 in a month, you are like magnificently obsessed.
It's not something that it's not obtainable for everybody else. And I say that with, we all listen, we all say these things, but don't let comparison be your joy. And I like that aspect too. Don't be looking, and there's no way I can do that, because, I put my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. You can do it too.
I'm jealous.
You just have to have a symptom. You just have to have a system. You have to have a goal, and you have to, you have to work it. You have to be consistent and focused on what you have to do. Be consistent, be intentional. And then you can do that type thing. So I guess, that kind of goes around to booking and sales, go hand in hand. We've already said that. Set yourself a goal, get yourself a system. If you don't have a system, if you don't have a designated time each day to sit down and do your booking messages and do your recruiting messages, or do this, make one and look at your schedule, and don't lie to yourself. Be completely honest to yourself and say, okay, how much time can you actually spare every day to send out 30 booking messages? And I'm not saying 30 booking messages and then stop and answer 5 people, 30 booking, in between. Sit down and send out 30 straight booking messages. Don't look up. I guess you can breathe, but don't get up. Don't go anywhere else. Don't do anything else, but sit down and send out those messages. Then get up, go change the laundry over, go get lunch if you're at work, go to the bathroom, whatever. And the bathroom is a perfect place to send book messages. If you're there and you're in the bathroom,
girl. Yep.
I mean, that's a lot of thumb time right there. So you could send out 15, every time I get up to go to the bathroom break, every time I get up to go, if you smoke break, I'm going to, pop in messages, however you do it. But be honest and be completely honest with yourself and set that time. If on Wednesdays, Becky says, nope, no way, I'm not doing work in my business, I'm not doing anything on Wednesdays at all, then add that time in on another day. Be completely honest with yourself. Because if you're not, then you're only just shortchanging yourself on that type thing. So I'd say that. I could preach for that all day long, but
now you guys know me. I asked Kelly if she would share a sample selection of text in the way she invites people to host online. And we all know, whether we're speaking to a friend, a relative, a past host, a past customer, it's worded a little bit differently depending on which category of person we're inviting. but there is a little bit of magic in the words and in the way we track and in the way we follow back. So you want to touch on that?
Exactly. It also has a lot to do with what you're doing in your party. I mean, when I was ready to throw in the towel, I was in a place where I just wanted Pampered Chef to show, and I wanted people to buy Pampered Chef, and I didn't want to have any games because I thought they were just ridiculous. And I don't know why we have games in a party, and it's just ding dong, and I don't want to do it. And so I'm just going to give them all Pampered Chef, and I could never book a party. I couldn't book a party. Nobody really wanted to book a party. But then I started putting in these food games and these show me a picture of your face if you see a spider game, and just things that were like ridiculous but fun. And I started booking parties because it became a situation where people were having more fun. They didn't realize that I was shoving Pampered Chef down their throat. They were having fun. And so then the next thing I would suggest to you guys, which is I start asking for bookings the second day of my party, sometimes the first. Because if you're having
can you share
fun,
how you do that? How you ask?
I have a lot of message me games, and I use my message me link,
Okay.
my m.me to Facebook. I don't do table, but not yet. Maybe someday. So if somebody has that, I don't do block. They're all individual parties. So somebody may have that question. And there's no thing bad with that at all. I just don't do that.
Right.
I have a habit, and I'm kind of like,
You work with what works for you.
Yes. And so I just I have a message me games throughout my whole party, various message me. And I use my m.me link because I have them message my personal page. Some people choose to message their business page, and that's absolutely okay. And so I have a conversation already going with these people. Hi, Jenny, thanks for joining the party. Where are you from? What do you do there? I'm just generally throwing out stuff. And Jenny might say, I'm partying from my phone. I live in a house. Or Jenny might tell me that she's partying from, tell me where she is, how many kids she has, how many goats, rabbits, and dogs she has. They all vary, but I always treat them the same way because you just don't ever know what's going on back there. She might just be trying to answer me and just go on and that kind of thing. So I start a conversation with them. And then I'll send a rock star message, thanks for, playing, you're normal. You guys have all heard about a rock star message. There's no magic unicorn rainbows. You got to do the work. There are days I don't want to do the work, goes right back to scheduling your time. There are days I sit down here kicking and screaming, and I don't want to send out a booking message because I may not want to hear a no, or I've got other things going on, or that kind of thing. But the thing of it is I look at it like this. You take your salary and you divide it by the average amount of hours you spend sending booking messages, and you get your hourly wage. And if you can be paid $40 an hour to sit down for an hour and send out 100 booking messages, would you do it?
Absolutely.
You do it. And so I kind of look at it like that. On my days where I just don't want to do anything, and then I go through the same thing. I don't want to hear, if I hear another no, I'm going to, drive myself. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to get up. Nope, you aren't. You're going to finish your booking messages, and then you'll just move on and that kind of thing. So I do that. That's what I do. I send an RSVP message. Some of you guys may have heard of that or not. It's basically just a thank you for joining the party. And then, just like Lisa said a while ago, the key is the follow-up. I have a lot of new people that'll say, they don't see my message. Well, they will after the third or fourth follow-up because it'll finally knock it into their inbox. And so I don't
So just
give up.
pause there for one moment. When you say follow-up, are these people that have not ordered in the party, not participated, they've placed an order? What kind of follow-up?
Anybody that breathes in my party gets a rock star message. So even if Lisa doesn't message me, if she doesn't message me or send me a message me or anything, if she's participating in my party, I'm going to send her a rock star message. And then if it doesn't get to her inbox, then I'm going to send her again, another one. And I'm going to pop it into her inbox. And I'll follow up. Sometimes the follow-up's the fourth time. I might be following up later on, and the fourth time, finally, Lisa's ready to party, or she ready to read it. And even though it doesn't show that they read it, that little bitty check mark doesn't show their little face, they can pull down on their phone and read the entire message, pull back up, and you'll never know they saw it. So
lucky for them, we know now.
that's right. So
I mean, lucky for us now.
On. A lot of times I hear, well, nobody saw it. They didn't see it. Oh, they saw it. I do it all the time. I do it all the time to everybody. I'll pull down, let it go back up to see if it's an emergency,
Now,
and then I answer it later.
I have plenty of people on here that have asked the question, myself included. What do you do in a situation where it's painstakingly quiet and either the host or the guest is literally standing in the way of engagement? The host isn't participating or posting anything as we ask, or the guest, it's just like radio silence. Do you have any strategies for that?
I never give up on a quiet party, because there's somebody in there that can't afford to buy something that wants to party. And so I am sending RSVP messages to everyone that's joined the party. And it's basically just a thank you for joining the party. Thank you for RSVPing. Just have a question for you. Would you like to have a fun online party in whatever month you're booking?
So this RSVP is sent through a private message to someone you're not yet friends with on Facebook. And with the amazing amount of parties that you have running, you're not incurring any, bad behavior kind of punishments from Facebook.
I get red dotted.
What does red dot mean?
Red dot where you can't see, we call it a red dot. You get there, you send so many out, and then to new people, and then you get red dotted, and I'll get red dotted. And then 24 hours later, I just start back up. I just make a note on a sticky note on my computer. And I prefer to get red dotted early in the morning, so then I can work all day, and the next morning I just start all over again. But sometimes I get red dotted at 8:18 at night, and it makes me mad. I have to go a whole day. But then my goal is, okay, well, if I'm red dotted and I can't send that, what other task on my task sheet can I accomplish and get done?
Can I say something?
And I just do it.
Go ahead, Joe.
I do the same thing where I send out messages, and for a while I was sending them just send, I'll get the red dot. But just recently I started kind of going slow. Now it's a pain because it takes more time, but I'll do some other things in between. But I'm able to send over 100 messages and I don't get red dotted. So the next day I can send another 100, So if you go slow enough, you can not get red dotted.
If you pet
Exactly, you
your computer,
can.
if you stroke the monitor, if you
Well,
do nice,
you can also
do
not
nice
get red
face.
dotted if you change your message up a little bit and you do 5 in this party, and then you might send 5 in this party, and you might do 5 in this party, and then you get up and go change the laundry over, or you go eat lunch and you go and send another 5. And like you said, it's a little tedious, but if I'm avoiding the red dot, that's what I'll work on doing it that way. It just depends on how many parties you're running and how many people you have in your parties. If you have an average of 4 parties, 4 to 6 parties, a week going on, then your odds of being red dotted, if you play your cards right, are very low. And I don't like to get red dotted because I don't really like to be on Facebook's radar. So I'll count, and they generally will let you send up to 50. But like I tell everyone, it's Facebook, and every day Facebook has something new. And every day we can choose to be mad at Facebook because they blocked us or they did something, or we can choose to work around the speed bump because really we're working on Facebook's platform. They're not making a penny off of us and we're making money. So I'll find a workaround. It might irritate me,
Again, it's your laser focus. That train can hit a hill, that train can get derailed, that train can run over a car, but that train is going to get delayed, and then it's going to get right back on track. And again, we often miss the very subtle things. And again, we all know it's kind of like I tease my team about, Weight Watchers has taught me a lot about bookings and sales. It's because if I don't track what I'm doing, I don't have a very clear look at my effort to match it up to my end result. So when I was at a Weight Watcher meeting one particular day a few years back, and I had gained weight, and I was very indignant about it, like, oh, that's it. I've done everything. I just can't do it anymore. This is a waste of my time kind of mentality. And the leader said to me, would you like some help at the end? And I said, absolutely, because I'm going to tell you, this ain't working for me. And she said, okay, let's start with your food log. Do you keep that on your phone or another way? And I looked at her and I said, well, I don't keep track. And she said, so would it be fair to say you don't have your exact effort to weigh it against your end result? And I looked at her and I said, you're so smart. Like, I wasn't thinking of my weight anymore. I was thinking about my book. I instantly went to my bookings and I couldn't wait to leave there to like come home and do a meeting about that. But there are so many factors to our success, because there are so many successful faces on here right now. And it's not like, go to Vegas and spin the wheel. It's not lucky that the people on here are successful. It's intentional, because they do the things that they know will bring them to that end result.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. You have to be intentional. Heather asked me if I send a friend request. No.
Not until they book.
Sometimes I don't even then. I mean, you guys all work at Pampered Chef. Are y'all sick of everybody else's news feed? Don't you want to see your friends? So a lot of times I might, friend request them for them to book, and then I just unfollow them or unfriend request them if they book. But otherwise, no, I don't send a friend request. I mean, I will accept one if a guest sends me one, because obviously they're wanting something and maybe I could use their friends list sometime. Yeah, definitely.
I always feel like I'm grooming somebody to do something they don't know they're going to do yet.
Yeah. We call it the spider web, I mean, I really want, I'm going to be friends because I want your friends list. I want to use your friends list so that I can do your other friends list. Now, I don't dig around in them like I won't friend request Lisa and then I go into her friends list and I start sending cold messages. That's not what I mean.
We know those people.
It's a part. If in the party she has invited someone, then that's where I go and I send people and I, do that. But again, it's intentional and consistent. And like I said, there are days, and I keep track of my stats, and I found something very eye-opening. And I know we've got a lot of leaders on here. Sometimes in the middle of the week, while I'm sending stuff, or at the end of the week, I will just tally up my tracking, my stats, like how many messages I sent for the week, how many no's I got so far, how many yeses I have so far, maybe how many are RSVP messages versus rockstar messages. And then I send those stats and just post them on my team page, my org page, or in my booking accountability groups that I have some booking accountabilities with different groups of people, because I want my team and my organization to realize that I'm human too, that I get a lot of no's too. And I have a lot of no's and a lot of parties going on, but I had to work the process to get where I got. And so, and it's eye-opening for them, because a lot of times they just see me, they see my sales, they think rainbows, glitter, and unicorns, and that's not true. It's work. I mean, it is work. I mean, do I enjoy it? Yes, most of the time I do. Do I not want to do it sometimes, just like everybody else? That's correct. I don't, but I do it because the payoff is there, and it's totally doable for anybody. So.
And the speed in which we go, we also know is indicative of that success, because, Jenny's always posting, why do I book 4 parties a week? And here's why. And she's very transparent. She'll say, this one's at $1,200, this one's at $900, this one's at $0, and this one's at $12. And what if I had only booked the 2? What if they turned out to be the 0 and the 12? Well, of course, that would frustrate me and point me in another direction. So,
Yes.
we do also come across the way you just said. It looks like to some people, we never have a cancellation. We never have someone mistreat us in a party or speak disrespectfully to us. And people, in this world, they comb this, they crawl this earth with the rest of us. There are mean people that my husband calls them keyboard warriors, people that are just unnecessarily rude. And you know, again, if we don't have that suit of armor and that locomotive mentality, that can literally stop us in our tracks. And literally, it's like a bully in school. It is about that person and their behavior. It's not about what we've done, or, you know, if, of course, we have to check ourselves before we say that. But I don't work with a single person in this company that I keep company with that would speak disrespectfully to anybody. So I don't ever think it's coming from the consultant. But it's laser focused. And when you look at 47,000, how many parties ran? Not even like if they were all successful, how many parties ran per week in October to reach that end result?
I was just looking at that because I saw Heather put that in there. I was like, well, I really don't know. Let me go look.
Heather's got 99 bookings. That's why she wants to know if it took 101.
I had 48 parties.
So that's roughly 12 a week, 13 a week.
Yeah, my goal is my personal goal. And if you're not doing this, start doing it. Make yourself a goal, because what you do right now, obviously you've heard us, everybody say it 1,000 times, what you do now affects you 30, 60, and 90 days from now. And so my goal is to always be booked by the 15th of the month for the following month. Okay, so like right now, it is November 16th, and I should have December completely booked already. And so come December 15th, I should have January completely booked. And then another little tidbit to you guys, because of December and the holidays, you should be booking January hard right now, so that you don't, so it doesn't go down and that kind of thing. So you keep the ball rolling. It's always like pedaling a bike. You can pedal a bike uphill, downhill, everywhere, but you can't coast. You cannot coast uphill.
I always say
And
coasting
so-
has one direction.
That's right. And Alicia, one of my peers that I'm really, really close with, says it's a whirlpool. You got to keep moving to make the whirlpool, the water spin. And if you stop, the water stops spinning. So
You
it's
just
the same.
reminded me of a cute story when my son, he's 25 now, but he was like 8 or 9, and he would make me ride bikes with him uphill this one, because it was to get to a store he'd like to go to with his allowance real quick. And we were cycling, and I just said, oh my gosh, can we just stop now? And he said, no, you have to keep going because we have to get ready for the next hill. And again, he's like 7 or 8. He doesn't even know what he just taught me. And I don't always live by that advice every day. We're all human. But when we're doing this journey, we have to remember we cannot take our eyes off the prize. And if we do, we have to schedule a time to put those eyes back on them. Because when we coast, you know, it's like gas mileage. Why do we get more miles out of that gallon on the highway than we do around town? It's because when we are on the highway, we're going at a fast speed and we don't take our foot off the pedal. But around town, we stop, we start, we stop, we start, and that burns more fuel. And it's the same thing with our business. When we decide to give into human condition, to walk away, throw our hands up, when we do that too often, that's burning our fuel and that's costing us.
Yes.
So the mindset is first. What did we say to ourselves? And what did we say out loud? We can't prevent the negative, but we can decide what message follows the negative and immediately slap it in the face and get it out.
Yes. I say you can have a pity party. You can do it all. You know, you can do it. Lay down, kick your feet, have your pity party, but you can only stay there for a short amount of time and get back up.
I had a consultant on
And
my
we
team.
have our moments.
I had a
mean,
consultant on
we'll have
my
a pity
team. She's
party.
no longer here, so it's no risk about her listening to the recording. And I said, okay, just go throw yourself a pity party and then, you know, come back at 5 o'clock. And she says, well, who do you invite to that kind of thing? And I was like, oh. Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, just whatever, you know, just have a fit. Sometimes I just get up and stomp around and yell, and you know, I'll go, you would not believe. In fact, I just got through telling my daughter I have a host that, you know, that's driving me bonkers. And we're midway through the party, not even midway through the party. And this morning, I nearly keyboard warriored her and canceled her party. And then I just backed out, went to the gym, burned off some steam, came back.
Oh, you
You know,
talk of the
it's
gym. I don't understand this talk of the gym. So
Yeah.
after we hang up, I'm going to do everything in my power to get some samples of your posts that I will not give out until I change them and make them authentic, and then give them back to you for permission to share just a couple of your engagement posts or your game posts, because we love that kind of meat. And there isn't a single person on this screen right now that has been accused of not, making an idea their own. But there has to be something else in your party to boost these sales. So 10, 12, 14 parties a week. Again, that's going to be the basis in which the healthy amount of sales begin. But can you tell us what you may do in your parties to maximize the opportunity for selling?
Have fun. I have a lot of interactive posts. I mean, I'm telling you guys, when I was being completely honest, when I said, I told you that I think that food game is the most ridiculous game. Bacon, nachos, blah, 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 blah. But they love stuff like that. They love things that are no-brainer posts. What's your favorite ice cream? Oh, I can answer that. What's your favorite color? Oh, I can do that. I don't have to think about it, So they love that kind of stuff. And as long as they're having fun, then the sales come. I'll have my host post a post, what's your favorite product? I'll spend some time commenting back on that day only, responding to people, because how many people call the mix and chop the chopper? And so I'm like, okay, do you mean the food chopper or the mix and chop? And I'll put a picture there. So I spend time in my parties. Heather was asking, how do you manage? I'm there. I don't have an assistant that works in my parties for me. So it's me. It really is. It's me. And I'm there. And so I use predictive text a lot. Some of my team members who work full-time use the app called Boards, to where their predictive text is already in there. And so there are certain posts, and I'll play all the interactive games, and it's in my predictive text on my computer. And so there are certain posts that I want to pop to the top of my party. And so if it's let me use mix and chop. Let's say I always have it in my party. So I want to pop it back up because it's really popular and gets people talking. So my predictive text is just MNC. And it pops up a whole word, whole sentence that says no kitchen should be without a mix and chop or two. And so it's really, really fast, Heather, because I pick a couple of times a day, and I go in and I have already predetermined posts. I really love the pantry items. And so I really will pop my pantry items back to the top. And so I'll say, oh, this barbecue rub is so wonderful. It's BBQ, and it automatically pops in there. So I can go through 15 parties twice a day, hitting maybe 2 posts and making it look like I'm there and popping it back up in there. And if it's a game, it's a message me game. Like I've got one going on right now. Message me your favorite cake. I've got something for you. Message me your favorite side dish. I've got something for you. Message me your favorite cookie. I've got something for you. So when Heather messages me her favorite cookie, I either have a recipe that Marketing Imagery has, or I have in my boards or on a Google sheet, a recipe from my personal website that I turn around and copy and paste straight to them. Oh, Heather, yum, I love that. And here's a recipe for you, bam. And I've sent you a recipe. And so it gets them to message me. So they really like that game, that kind of thing. So there's kind of different things like that. So predictive text is what gets me through. And I'm kind of the person that doesn't like to work on my phone because I wear cheaters all the time. I can't ever find them and I can't see my phone. And so I don't really move from boards on my phone, but it works very well for other people. Of course, in January, I'm going to have to learn how to do that because I'm not going to be able to carry my computer around with me all the time. And so anyway, long story short, predictive text. However you want to use it, on what device you want to use it, copy and paste, get it in there and make sure, you get your parties moving like that. So yeah, I play the games but basically they're having fun. Interactive posts, there's probably 4 a day. or more.
Okay.
And I just rotate them out. Do I change my template? No.
As I'm sitting here, I just came up with something. I'm going to make a picture later because my thoughts are always, I'm going to create a 2 truths and a lie post because I really feel like people love to
Talk about themselves.
talk about themselves and make up something. There's always going to be somebody who's going to try to make up something goofy. But 2 truths and a lie was something I always had fun with my kids at the dinner table. And, there were times I found things out that I didn't want to know as a result of the game. But, then we went on to let's pay each other a compliment the next week. But yes, there are games that we can play. It could even be something like, and I know not everybody is camera confident, but I'm going to tell you, after 23 years of doing cooking shows, I would get scared at speaking in front of people at times, but then I realized I'm the person who's running the party. So I really don't care what others think of me. Of course, I'm not going to go on with no makeup and my hair looking all like I combed it with a firecracker. But what I will do is practice something out loud. And I'm thinking now I'm going to do my engagement posts as a live, a 30-second live. So for today's game, I want everybody watching this video to comment with, because I feel like people tune into lives because they want to see you screw up. They want to see how you sound. Who wants to hear the Long Island accent, the Texan accent? But I think that when we take something and we solve the boredom issue, because Kelly, you are preaching to the choir. My team has heard me say, I don't play games. I don't give out prizes. I don't do any of that. And I started cracking up when you said that because that was me. And when I look at my show, if I'm so bored with it, I don't want to book parties because I don't want to look at my outline, and the whole thing trickles down. So then I say, okay, figure out a way to solve your boredom. And that's when I go and freshen up my party or my approach or something to get me excited to look back at notifications. So I just want for a quick second, everybody to type one thing in the chat that you heard. And if you're driving, don't type. One thing that you heard that you've been guilty of recently that may have stunted your growth, whether it was you didn't keep track, you had a stinking thinking thing going on and didn't reverse it. Name one thing that may have tripped you up from getting a little further than you wanted to in the recent past, last couple of weeks. Anything? I'm going to do it too.
While you're typing that, I'm going to answer. Do I offer prizes? No, I have a party prize at the end of the party prize at the end of the party. It has to qualify, and it's a drawing. They earn tickets, and I get to pick that. And do I keep track of the points? No. Or tickets? No.
Yeah.
They booked, ordered, and played the games. They're in the running for that.
Abby asked how many posts a day are in your party, and do you run them between, and Debbie asked, do you run them between specific hours?
It varies on how many posts are in my party each day. It just depends on what I am really excited about. Like, I think my baking day is the most post because I just love bake and gadgets. I like to show things that are multi-use, and so I get really excited about that kind of stuff. So those are my 2 favorite days. So I probably have way too many posts in there that I should have. And do I run them all day? Oh yeah, all day. People are up all day and all night.
Like, I love that whole
am I
time
there?
zone thing.
No.
I love that they give us a choice with time zone. Like, I care. I'm going to message you at 4 a.m. if I'm up.
I had hosts in Alaska, and so their time was totally different than mine. And yeah, my posts start posting in the morning, and then I have a group post at noon, and then I have another group at 6. And then sometimes when I feel like I really want somebody to see something, I post something in the afternoon. But I just go in there and like Heather, Heather, when you asked me, the afternoon in between that break between noon and 6 o'clock, that's when I have my time scheduled that I go in and I pump my posts up to the top. So that works for my schedule, that I go in there and run up things up the top. So if I want them to look at the spice organizer or whatever, I'm like, oh, well, stick that up there. The boil over no more is a huge thing that I sell all the time because I'm like, oh, this is a hidden treasure. And they're like, oh, I've never seen that before. And then, I've got, had somebody that's been in 5 parties of mine, and I say I never change them. And if you're spending your time changing your template every single week, stop. Stop. Just because Joe and Heather and Lisa are all friends and they're all having a party week after week after week, they're not going to see everything. Change your interactives and spend your time booking. Because they will, there'll be somebody, Lisa may have been in my party, and and then I pop something up to the top and she'll go, oh my gosh, I haven't ever seen that. That is the coolest thing. And I'm like, Lisa, you've been in the last 6 parties, and guess what? It's been there every single time. You just didn't look, or, you were working or something like that. So, that kind of thing. So yes, I have some block schedules, and that's kind of like, it's whatever I want to pop up to the top. So it all varies, guys. It's just whatever day, if you're not tagging people, another thing, if you're not tagging people in posts, in a post that you want them to message you on, tag them. If you're not, tagging them on the last order day, tag them. There's all kinds of different things. If you're not changing the party, that the name of your party every day, or 1 day left, two days left, 1 day left, order day, change it. Everyone gets a notification. So
A couple of the things that I've done this particular week to kind of just, because I'm a seller, at the end of the day, I sell. I've done a couple of different things where I put packages together, and maybe I just put things together that work well together, and I took $5 off the price. But when you take the thinking out of it for people, they just go, oh, I'll grab that package. I will take, for today only, I will take $25 off of your purchase of the deluxe air fryer, the electric grilling griddle. I did that on Halloween.
Hey,
I didn't get any takers.
where were you? In the shower. Hold on, I don't know.
So if you take 1 day and you just say, I'm going to take $25, $10, $15 off the price of blank, I choose the air fryer because I love that machine. And if I spend $25 on a $289 purchase, I'm still making like $45 commission on top of that. And it's well worth it to me to do that. So when we incentivize quieter parties, and again, I always encourage consultants, if you're going to offer something, always make a profit. Don't ever be in the red. Don't spend money and not make money. So when I do the 3 bookings for the host, which I'm again neglectful of, I will offer an incentive for anybody that's booking this day of the party, not at the end, but today, when you say yes to booking a party, not only will your host get the credit for it, but today only, I'm going to be adding a product no kitchen should be without to your party. And I don't say what it is, because I feel like all products are what no kitchen should be without, but it adds a little, but I do it like no kitchen should be. Guys, we ran out of this 6 times that last month, and I'm getting it for you right away. It's like, oh, what is it? And guess what? They don't have to know what it is. It could be a surprise. And if at the end of your party, it turns out you already own this surprise I'm going to give you, I will trade it in for something of equal value. Doesn't matter. It's the allure of the mystery of it. And I want to give one other tip too. In the cooking show world, in December, I booked 15 parties in 15 days. They didn't all stick, but I would do it with your homes are already decorated. Everybody's in a good mood. You don't have to cater a party. We don't need the husbands. We can shop from our seat, not from our feet. Enjoy a glass of wine. And I can do my 5 appetizers in 15-minute party. And it was way more than 15 minutes, but it would be 5 quick appetizers, like pour the raspberry habanero sauce over the cream cheese, and then make a Christmas tree out of the cream cheese. It was a hot 3-minute dip where you took a rub, cream cheese, mozzarella, a little bit of milk, and you microwaved it. At that time, it was like the garlic and brie baker, but we can use anything we want. And we made a hot 3-minute dip. And then another one would be a cold dip. Take any other rub, do cold sour cream and mayonnaise. The French onion dip, so waistline friendly because you only need sour cream and you can use fat free. So you can show them these quick and easy appetizers, but when you advertise it as 5 appetizers in 15 minutes that are going to help you in your holiday entertaining this year. And you can do, my piece de resistance was always a pasta recipe in the microwave in the rock crock. But if you add a new twist to it, and you can either do it by Zoom, by post, or by lives, but when you add these little twists, people become, oh, that's new. Oh, I haven't seen that. So in December, I would have 10 envelopes and I would number them. And inside the envelopes were prizes. It could be a mix and chop, a classic scraper. I would tell them there was a 12-inch skillet in there, but there wasn't. I would tell them there was a rock crock in there, but there wasn't. And I would have them pick an envelope. Okay. And in a cooking show scenario, the envelope was completely sealed with tape, clear tape, so that if I knew they tampered with it, it voided the gift. And it would say on the envelope, void if opened before your party, right? So we can do that. We could do a twist like this in the online world too. You can make a graphic with different prizes behind the numbers, but when you pick one of these envelopes, this is going to be, and we won't find out what it is until your party. Don't tell them ahead of time. And then you can change your mind as to what's behind that envelope 10 times, because they're not all going to be in the same party, right? Using little tactics like that, it gets people's curiosity going and they love that little extra. And don't be afraid to send out messages every week if you're doing a shared rewards, because Kohl's has sent me 4 catalogs and 3 coupons in the last 9 days. Okay. And my director, Lisa Harris, on this call, she has taught me so much about when we were at the top of this pandemic, when I was terrified to reach out to people. And she said, are you getting mad at the people that work for your favorite retailers that are sending you emails? And I said, no, why would I get mad? She said, you see, it's up to the person receiving it. And because if we just send one email in a month and we don't hear anything, well, that email probably got buried by 28 others that very same day. So personal messages, and my son, he just told me the other day, he goes, the statistics, because he does this for a living. He said 11% of all people emailed will actually see it in their, in their scroll. 7% will read it and 3% will act on it the first time they see it. All right. So individual messaging and emailing are more often with a catchy subject line and a short, these are all little November, December tricks for sales. Anybody else? Kelly, did you have anything else to add before I give anybody 5 minutes opportunity to ask you a question?
I just want to address Kim for just a minute, overanalyzing, that type of thing. I would strongly suggest that you brain dump after this call and write down all the ideas and then take one and implement it and do it for 2 or 3 weeks and work the kinks out of it and make it work for you. And then when it becomes a habit after 2 weeks, take another. Don't try to take all of them and put them in one big basket and try to do them all at once, because you're going to get frustrated and you're going to get overwhelmed and you are going to just want to just throw in the towel. So pick the number one, rank them if you have to, and then do the things a little at a time and make them a habit. Once they become a habit, after a couple of weeks of you consistently promising yourself you're going to do it, then add something else to your list, from that list and work it around. And then if you don't like what you added the first time, toss it out, give it 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks to try it. And so interactives, somebody said something about interactives. Do I change them out? Yeah, I change them out and I'll give an interactive 2 or 3 weeks. And if I see a lot of action on one and not the other, then I toss it and I'll throw it in my VIP or something. So
Kim, I want to ask, what do you feel you're overanalyzing?
I mean, everything. Like I'll overanalyze, like, should I say it like this? Should I say it like that? Should I do this today? Should I do that tomorrow? Like, I think also trying to plan out content would help me a lot, because I feel like I'll be like, I'm going to do a live today. And then I'm like, what am I going to do it on? Right. And I just I need to better prepare. I think that would help me, but basically everything. I just overthink everything.
So like Kelly said, pick a lane, stay in it. And as far as like content for your VIP, do a content calendar. What am I comfortable doing? What do I love doing? What can I get excited about doing? And then you're going to, on a piece of paper, or she's our tech genius, this one, she can electronically keep track of on Sunday. Every Sunday, I'm going to go live with a 30-second quick tip. On Wednesdays, every Wednesday, I'm going to hold myself accountable to doing a quick recipe without even being on camera. We could be in our pajamas, right? So figure out a content calendar, but don't overload it. Don't make it so over the top that you can't keep up, and just play with that. But if we're all over the place, you know, if you guys remember a few conferences ago, Pamper Chef did an exercise with us in general session. It was a leader thing. It was about multitasking, and multitasking. There's a difference between putting in a load of laundry and then going for a walk. That's a good multitask, right? But multitasking where you have your phone over here and you have your two screens open over here, and you're looking and the phone is dinging. And like Kelly said at the top of this call, you're sending out your booking messages, but now you stopped to answer somebody that answered you. And now you're back and forth. That task is now costing time. So it takes great discipline to be able to shut off the device that's going to, or the TV or something that's going to draw your attention away. And the resource room at the library, if you can do it, because I know not everybody can get away from their, you know, their young kids, but the resource room at the library is free if your library is open, and you can literally plug in your computer and work in a soundproof room, and it has windows so you don't feel like you're in a jail cell, and you can work from a space you can call your temporary office if you can't function around the chaos of home. But if you're at your office, if you literally leave your job to go to an office, you're not doing your laundry there. You may be sneaking a look at your phone when you're allowed to, but you know you're not allowed to, so you try not to do it too often, right? So if we can follow the rules for somebody else's company, why can't we follow it for ourselves? And I always say, if you're going to expect something out of your child, we have to expect it out of ourselves. So would you let your child have a video game on and their phone and the music playing when they're doing SAT prep?
I have a task list that tells me when to go eat and tells me to go do this and tells me to do whatever. And I just dump it all there so that I can just go back to it.
I have multiple personalities. We eat all day long.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
I would like to know more about the predictive text. I think it's what you called it. I don't know what that is.
I have it on my computer. It's not a Mac. My computer is just a regular old Dell PC. And so predictive text, there's an auto text that I have downloaded, and I can always send over a Loom video so you can see, but it's auto text. Corey Ellis shamed me into finally doing it, and I could kiss her every time I see her, because now it's wonderful. So it's
They call text shortcuts also on a cell phone. So Google the name of your phone and then text shortcuts, and then click videos. And if you can do it on your phone while you watch the video on your computer, you can stop and start. But it's literally putting in these commonly used word choices and then abbreviating it with 2 or 3 letters. So if you typed XGS, that's your message for sending somebody a message who placed an order and they're close to getting the guest special. I call it XGS because X is not a letter I will type most often. But if I start typing a word with G, then things might start coming up. But just type in the name of your phone or the name of your computer and type in text shortcuts and then click videos, and you'll find it all over YouTube how to maximize that.
Yeah, I use auto text. And so, yeah, it's all, if I type a sentence more than once in my party, then I'm putting it in there. I'm putting it in there. So I can only type 3 letters and it'll pull that whole sentence up.
I didn't know you could do that on a desktop. I only do that from my phone. I usually use a Microsoft Word file where I copy and paste on a computer.
Yeah, and Yeah, it's auto text. It's I just put it on my computer and then now I go in there and I set a keyword and I copy and paste in that what I want to say. So all my Rockstar messages, all my stalking messages, everything is like Rockstar's one RST.
Okay.
They
Well,
get the whole
guys,
thing.
it's the top of the hour. I want to respect everyone's time today. So if you have any other questions that did not get answered, please, please, please post it in our team groups and tag your director and we will get your questions answered. I am going to, after the call, I'm going to get some things off of Kelly and rewrap them and let's put a spin on some new fun things in case you're bored like I was and we need to put a new spin on that party. And I promised Kelly I would return the favor and do whatever I can for her own team as well. So I look forward to helping in that way. I will post the recording as soon as it's available. And if I don't speak to some of you in the meantime, a very happy and a healthy Thanksgiving holiday to you and your families.
Thanks for
you.
having me. See you guys later.
Thank you.
And I'm
Thanks
coming
so
after
much.
you, 47,000.